Hello and welcome back to another episode of Serie A Spotlight. This is episode 122. We are hosts Matt
and Jake,
bringing you guys all the updates of Matchday 32 in Serie A, along with some European updates and Coppa Italia updates as well.
Quite a few draws this week, and had that Udinese-Roma game actually been concluded, it would have broken a record for the most draws in a Serie A match day.
Jesus Christ, there was probably a record broken for the most boring day of Serie A football, and my friend, that was Saturday. There was one goal, I believe, scored on Saturday, and then Sunday, one of the most entertaining.
Absolutely. Of course, Udinese-Roma was abandoned after Evan Ndicka suffered chest pains. The score was 1-1 at that point. Huijsen had a bad error to allow Pereira to go through on goal, and he managed to slot it past the goalkeeper to make it 1-0. But then Lukaku equalised with a powerful towering header. But then it was, I believe, the 71st minute when Evan Ndicka went down holding his chest.
Yeah.
And the medics rushed onto the pitch. There was some commotion going on over there, a lot of panic. And he was rushed into the tunnel, but he was conscious going into the tunnel, and he gave a thumbs up. He signaled to the fans that everything was okay.
I always enjoy it when players do that, to show that they're fine, particularly when it comes to a situation like this. The thing I fear the most is the player falling into a fit or out of consciousness.
Yes.
Like what happened to Eriksen, like what had happened to Ruben de la Red back in the day as well with Dani Puerta. But it was good to see him giving a thumbs up, and it was chest pains and not a heart attack.
Absolutely.
Because I saw a lot of people thinking it was a heart attack. It wasn't a heart attack, it was chest pains. The ECG, not a doctor by the way, me, Matt. The ECG showed that there was trauma on like the left side of the heart or something like that. But further tests are ongoing, obviously, just to make sure that this guy, it's not a career-threatening thing and he could get back onto the pitch.
Yeah. So that's the most important thing, his safety, of course. The match was abandoned. You could see De Rossi looked distraught, particularly. He looked really concerned, and they were in no position to continue playing the game. The thing I find particularly strange is that the match is going to be played on the 25th of April, and they'll be continuing just from where they left off. So they'll be playing 15 minutes.
Like, in theory, makes total sense, right? But when you take into account the way that a game progresses and teams' tactics, that is where I think it could be unfair. Firstly, it's between two very tough fixtures for Roma. Now, obviously, Udinese were accommodating, the Lega was accommodating to allow this shift to take place, obviously for fucking good reason. But when you take into account the full picture, the fact that Roma had momentum at that time, they had just scored and they were looking for a second and they were attacking. The fact that Udinese seemed a little bit tired and Roma did a good job of wearing them out. The fact that fresh legs were introduced.
The fact that they need to fly to play 15 minutes of football.
It's not perfect. It's not perfect. Unfortunately, it's an unfortunate situation. And it's not going to be perfect. There needs to be a clash in the schedule, and something needs to be done. Would it be fair on Udinese if they started from 0-0 from minute 0?
Yeah, and on the
Probably
people who
not.
Scored and everything like that.
So many factors to be taken into account. I am just super grateful that there were amendments made in order to help. It's a very humanitarian kind of approach to
and
take.
the Italians tend to be quite humanitarian when it comes to health and wellness, at least.
You see Bologna keeping Mihailovic
backwards when it comes to certain things. but when it
the
comes
government,
to,
there we said it.
Like I knew immediately from everyone's faces, this isn't continuing.
No.
You could see everyone was so distraught. And it was horrible at first. I mean, it was horrible the entire time.
Frightening.
But it obviously reminded you of Christian Eriksen most recently.
Firstly, power to Evan Ndicka. Get well soon, brother. We hope this isn't a career-ending thing. We saw Ruben de la Red's career was ended through something like this. Sergio Kun Agüero's career was ended due to something like this. Some great footballers. And we hope Evan Ndicka will not make that list. What to take a rare positive out of the situation, this Roma team is very united. this experience will make them even more united. They've
Probably.
all spoken about how united they are now under De Rossi, how much they would sacrifice for De Rossi. This moment brought them all together, even more than they already were.
Absolutely, yes. And Pellegrini has already come out and said that they would literally, what was the exact quote? They would die for De Rossi.
They'd go on the front lines and toss themselves in a fire for De Rossi. It's like,
First of all, calm down. Right? Calm down.
what Melita FC coach would you have done that for?
Coach
Weezu.
Nico.
Oh, Nico, bro.
bro.
Nico used to call me big boy, bro. It used to fucking...
Once I shaved a line in my eyebrow because, I thought it was cool like back then. Like Aaron Lennon used to have. And I rocked up the training. Everyone was giving me shit at school, all my friends, the teachers, everyone giving me shit about this line in my eyebrow. I get to training, Coach Nico looks at me, very intimidating. I like it.
Bro, I remember Nico, I was like B team, but like always one of the best of the B team. And they used to do this rotation, and I used to end up in the A team quite regularly. And when I was with the A team, like they were like these guys, natural ballers, faster than me, like
Better looking.
better looking than me. But our father, Papa,
What in heaven?
he's alive.
Whose name is Kevin?
Brilliant. 7 Heaven 11 Kevin, Glenn Devon, whatever. He used to really want me to be an aggressive footballer. Like I used to play like center midfield.
Yeah.
He used to like rile me up before training and stuff like that. And I used to go in and I used to like foul and like pinch people, pull their shirts and
you were a
stuff
shit
like
house.
that. Nico loved it, bro. Coach Nico. Good! Like a clear foul. Good! I used to love him. We're getting a bit off
Yes, we
topic.
haven't even mentioned our goal of the week, which was Leao. This wasn't as straightforward. There were some good goals. I thought that the footwork that Leao displayed during this goal was phenomenal, though, and it's not a goal we often see, because Politano's curler, I feel like we see something similar on a weekly basis, that cutting inside and curling.
To a degree.
No
one quite does it like him off the right hand
he's
side.
the master, right, of that move behind Suso back in the day.
The dog.
Yes, there was Pinamonti who had a lovely team goal where Volpato kind of deleted his man, crossed it in, and then Thordsved flicked it on with his leg at an unnatural angle.
Like a back heel in the air kind of thing.
Yeah, and then Pinamonti just smacked it in. And then, of course, there was Scamacca's where he knocked the ball up and volleyed it into the back.
Control with the left, volley with the right.
Lovely goal.
Thierry Henry has one like that, but on a whole different level, bro. It's a ridiculous,
I think I know the one.
Ridiculous goal. But I think Leao takes the cake over here, simply because name 2 other footballers in the league that can do that, and I genuinely don't believe you can. Good to see Leao on the score sheet after a tough gig. Let's mention that tough gig because we did have Europa League action and Conference League action last week. The second leg is gonna be held on Thursday the 18th, so today when this podcast is out, so enjoy tonight, guys. The first thing I want to talk about is Liverpool 0, Atalanta 3.
Yes, and we kind of brushed it off that it was going to be a straightforward affair for Liverpool. How, in hindsight, how foolish and reckless of us.
To a degree.
What are we, Prem heads?
How foolish because sometimes you just believe the hype. They talk so much crap that sometimes you end up fucking believing it. How dumb we are.
Yeah.
But how foolish were they to field the 11 they did? Now, is it because as Klopp's last season they want to win the league and like fuck Europa? Or did they underestimate the fuck out of their opponents?
So, so first of all, because I know Michael, Atalanta fan in our Patreon chat, who I will shout out very soon, don't you worry.
Cheers, Mikey.
Mentioned that he's worried that the narrative would be that the only reason Atalanta managed to beat Liverpool in this manner was because of the people and the players that they field. However, Klopp was interviewed after the game and he said that like rotation needs to happen in football, and he said that the score in the first half when the reserves were there wasn't as bad as the score in the second half when he brought on the first team players. So Atalanta did the most damage to Liverpool when they had their best players on the pitch with Salah and what's his name, the Darwin Núñez. I always remember his name with the song. What's his name? Darwin Núñez. Yeah, so take nothing away from Atalanta. They did incredibly well. It was a hard-fought victory, action-packed, and Liverpool were attacking a lot. But Atalanta kept it cool, and they absolutely tore them apart when it came to the offensive play.
Also, one thing to keep in mind is when you face a side you weren't preparing for, things can get a bit more complicated. So I remember there was this story of when Nottingham Forest, our dad told me the story. I believe it was Nottingham Forest against Spurs in a cup final, in the FA Cup final, I believe it was. And Forest prepared around stopping Gascoigne. Spurs is Gascoigne. Gascoigne went off injured in like the 15th minute. Before that, Forest were sticking to their game plan in stopping Gascoigne. He went off, and Forest lost like 2 or 3-0 because they were suddenly bamboozled. So if you're preparing for Mo Salah, if you're preparing for Darwin Núñez, and you end up facing these young, hungry guns, it could become an even more complicated affair to a certain degree. Secondly, I think Gasperini hit the nail on the head with the way in which they played this game. They stuck to the wings, which is somewhere they could really devastate Liverpool, and the pressure that they were applying, and just watching Atalanta off the ball is a fucking joy. Like, let Liverpool pass it around, dog, and see Atalanta shift like a transformer, shift their shape like a transformer, just adapting and adapting and adapting, and keeping a clean sheet in Anfield and putting 3 past them. Massive victory. Atalanta, go all the way and get us 6 Champions League teams next season in Serie A.
Imagine.
History will be made.
That would be crazy.
Milan 0, Roma 1.
Yes,
if you're ready to jump to that.
Yes, we did a watch along for that, so you could literally see our reaction to the entire game with Cesco, a lively young fellow.
Yep. Who choked me the second Mancini scored. I couldn't believe it.
If there's a thing about Matthew, it's don't touch his face, man.
No, thankfully it wasn't my face.
Instantly pisses you off.
I get frustrated. I think I kept my cool. But imagine, you see that goal, and I said that a corner, Roma good, Milan bad when it comes to corners, and they scored it. So I was obviously pissed off because it's so fucking predictable. Like, Cesco screaming, so I'm even more pissed off. Bless him, like he's obviously gonna freak out, you know. He grabs me by the throat, dog, and you could see my face just like tense up, just like, let go of me, bro. But I think Roma were excellent in this game. They showed how good they are at attacking, and they showed how good they are at defending, as simple as that. Yeah. It's often in a tight affair. We said this about a Juve game in the past. If you have set pieces to your arsenal, you always have a fucking chance. And Roma showcased that, another Mancini goal after a set piece. I think Milan were let down by the forward players. I don't think, if you look at Milan's performance, you can't criticize the midfield too much, you can't criticize the defense too much or the goalkeeper too much. I think going forward, Milan created chances, but the front three, particularly unfortunately, Rafa Leao, left a lot to be desired. That's the case.
Leao was double if not triple man most of the time.
For sure.
As it tends to be the case. I feel like most of the other forwards struggled to get into the game, and simply I feel like Roma wanted it more, man. Yeah, and Roma were hungry, and they got to the loose balls before Milan did, and it's true it could have gone any other way the game, because in reality, Roma's goal, if El Shaarawy had scored his original shot. I can't remember who it was, but basically, remember Manian had that amazing save.
Yes, incredible
El
Shaarawy.
If it had that gone, it would have been offside.
Yeah, this is. I've seen a lot of talk about this. The fact that there was an offside, which is an infringement, but the game wasn't stopped because it wasn't caught. It led to a corner. And then Roma capitalized off of the corner.
And even if it had been caught, linesmen are encouraged to keep their flags down in those situations. So in reality, the only way Milan would have not conceded that is if Manian had conceded the goal.
Exactly.
So Manian out.
Fuck it, I can't stand him. No. To be honest. Wah. bitchamel baby.
That's it. And then at the end, for me, handball. Tammy Abraham handled the ball in the box. That was a penalty for Milan at the end for me.
There I absolutely agree, and that pissed me off because we saw it, and like we're the kind of people that we always like take it with a pinch of salt or think negatively, so then we're surprised we're fucking Phoenix, me and Jake. But there where we saw it, we're like, we have a chance over here. It's definitely a penalty, and it wasn't awarded. So again, it's part of the game. This shit happens. If I'm being harsh, Milan should have made it happen regardless.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Pilsen 0, Fiorentina 0, away from home in is it
Czech Republic?
No, in Chechen. That's a place.
Yeah,
I believe that's where Pilsen. Somewhere. Sorry, I don't know the exact city. Tough atmosphere for Fiorentina. It ended 0-0. When you're in an atmosphere like that, you can get cold feet. Now Fiorentina have been there, done that last season in the conference, making it all the way to the final. This is always going to be a tough outing, especially paired with Coppa football and Serie A football. I still think they should have done better, but going back to Florence, I think they could get this done.
Fiorentina, man, are all bark, no bite this season. That sums them up pretty nicely, and it sums up Italiano pretty nicely this year, the way he has his team set up. We've been saying for a while that they just can't get it to their strikers, man. They had 73% ball possession, yet only 2 shots on target and an XG of 0.38, man. Like, you know what I mean? They're like that guy who's just constantly texting a woman, you know, you put this shit I'm gonna do to you. You're not gonna believe it. You're not gonna believe it. Then you are.
Or that guy that like ends up becoming best friends with a woman. Because just keeps texting and being really sweet. Like
that's it. That's Italiano for you. And this wasn't the only one. You know, Fiorentina had their league game, which went in a very similar manner to this.
I'm not incredibly mad about this result for Fiorentina.
They'll get it done at home.
They're in 3 competitions, no injuries in this game. I think they can get it done, but yes, everything stands. They still can't get the ball to the striker. They're still disappointing, but I'm not too mad about that. Coppa, you guys know what happened. Juve had beat Lazio 2-0 a couple of weeks ago, and Fiorentina had beaten Atalanta a couple of weeks ago. Now the second leg is taking place on Tuesday 23rd April and Wednesday 24th April, where Lazio are home against Juve and Atalanta are home against Fiorentina. Any predictions for who the final is going to be? Because I know you previously mentioned that Atalanta will win it. And I said Juve. I think Atalanta will get past Fiorentina on the 24th of April. I think Atalanta will do that. They're in 2 competitions and Fiorentina are in 3, kind of thing. Juve will 0-0 Lazio, and then Juve will beat Atalanta in the final.
I think so. I think realistically that's how it will go. Because, you know, the way Allegri plays football, it's perfect for games like this, for knockout tournaments, right? So yeah, but then you have Juve in a final. However, it is a domestic final where they seem to thrive. So no memes over there.
We'll see where that goes. We should start getting into it.
To the patrons. $3.99 a month. You could have your name read out in this exclusive list of legends. Okay, we've got Alan, we've got Andrew, we've got Andy, Anthony, Tim, Campbell, Slooge McNoodle, hashtag who is Slooge McNoodle, Lena, David, Kyle, Luca, Matthias, Mint, Michael, Ed, and Tonna.
Fantastic.
The legends, the guys that keep the show going.
What a squadron of beautiful human beings. Do you want to be a beautiful human being? You guys don't know, but when we get a new patron, we play a song on this podcast. We freak out. Just for the new patron.
It hasn't happened in a while.
It hasn't happened in a while.
You've probably forgotten.
Yeah, we should post more about it.
But one more thing before we get to the rundown that I forgot to mention is that Roma are not happy at all with their rescheduled fixture. Even though
naturally for the reasons we brought up,
because it's between the Bologna game and the Napoli game. That's it.
Again, unfortunate. The game has to be played at some stage. No, don't forget, if you don't want to be a patron, at least follow us, like our content, drop us a message. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. We have video on YouTube, guys. You could, instead of just listening to us in the car, flick us on, cast us onto your smart TV.
Today, when
have
we
a
were
look
doing
at us.
the mic check and the camera check, Matt told me, just so you know, Jake, you're oily.
For those of you that don't know, I'm not going to tell you what Jake's hairstyle is so that you'll get curious and you'll check us out on YouTube. But let's just say his scalp looked a bit oily. And I wanted to point it out. So you know, like, last time I had a day of meetings, bro. After lunch. And I had food between my teeth. No one, it was quite obvious.
No one told
No one told me, bro. No one fucking told me. I went to meetings.
A bunch of fakes, bro.
It's like I could have given them a snack out of my fucking teeth. Like, tell a brother, man, I've got shit in my teeth, whatever. Let's get into the rundown. This is the order in which we're going to be covering Matchday 32. Inter 2, Cagliari 2. Guess what? Inter concede after the 75th minute again. And guess who? Nicolas Viola. Again, amazing stuff by Cagliari. Could have won it at the end, but they didn't. Sassuolo 3, Milan 3. What is it with Sassuolo Milan? Why is there always like 5 goals, 6 goals in this game? It's always a treat. Milan had to come back from 2-0 and then 3-1. Now, because Milan and Sassuolo drew and Inter and Cagliari drew, Inter can still win the league by defeating Milan in next Monday's Derby della Madonnina. Had Inter won against Cagliari, all they would have needed was a draw.
Yeah.
Nice, at least. Torino 0, Juve 0. I mean, Juric versus Allegri. What more is there to say about that game? Yeah. Juve, by far the better team in this game, but really didn't capitalize on their chances, particularly Dusan Vlahovic with quite a disappointing outing. Bologna 0, Monza 0. Hashtag is it cold feet? We'll get into that soon. Napoli 2, Frosinone 2. To me, a game that sums up Napoli's season quite well.
How
over there.
Wasteful were Napoli in the first half.
Osimhen was wasteful. He missed 2 chances, and they conceded 2 by Nana Dadan, Walid Chedira, who they keep loaning out, and now it's bitten them in the ass because he scored twice against them, and he celebrated. Fucking right. I would have too. Lazio 4, Salernitana 1. Relax. Lotito does not own Salernitana anymore, so this was totally a legal affair.
One of the goals was by 2 players who literally came out and said they're leaving at the end of the game. Philip Anderson was off to Palmeiras, by the way. So we were convinced it was Juve. And Fabrizio Romano. Did you see what he posted a video? Because he had been pushing the whole thing that Philip Anderson is going to Juventus, right? He posted a video essentially insinuating that the reason he changed his mind was because of his own tweet.
Really?
Yeah, and like how in your own head and self-absorbed they have to be. Like, no, I have nothing against Fabrizio Romano. You know, he's a...
Love him, please get on the podcast. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely. But come on, you're serious right now. He's got his family in Brazil. You think he's going to Brazil because you said he's going to Juve? Like, come on, dude.
Maybe there's something we're unaware of.
And the other one is Luis Alberto, of course, who came out and said, I'm not gonna take another euro from Lotito.
About time, like. Juve, to me, are better off this way because he would have been 35 by the end of his contract at Juve. Like, he really doesn't have that much left to give, and he's a super inconsistent player. Yes. So I think Juve dodged a bullet.
And now he's the best player in the Brazilian league.
Exactly. It's as simple as that.
With his family.
Atalanta 2, Verona 2. Another point dropped, or in the last game, more points dropped against a minnow side as they beat Liverpool 3-0 in Anfield, but then they lose to Cagliari away from home and they draw to Verona after being 2-0 up at home in Bergamo. And they were up against Cagliari as well and they threw it away. So Atalanta just throwing the league away. Fiorentina 1, Genoa 1. Another Albert Goodmanson goal is the best way that I can put that.
And
again.
A whole lot of Fiorentina once again just barking.
Oh, we gonna do it. That's Fiorentina. Lecce 1, Empoli 0. Empoli had a really bizarre goal ruled out because the keeper handled the ball from outside the area after kicking it up. Caprile, who had an excellent game. Yes. Caprile was brilliant. Lecce
they were
scored.
appealing for a penalty on the other end, or had they scored on the other end? How was it?
No, Caprile handled the ball outside the area. Then he kicked it upfield. Lecce scored.
Okay,
and then they're like, it was a handball by Caprile in the build-up to the goal.
That's hilarious.
So it got ruled out.
And it was quite early on in the game as well.
Like fifth minute, bro. Like fifth minute. Lecce scored in the 89th, and Valukovic, to me, that's his fault. Yeah. And then we'll be going through Udinese 1, Roma 1, but obviously the game isn't over yet, so we can't.
We'll do that another episode, don't worry.
Exactly. We'll cover the first 71 minutes in this episode and then give you the other 19 or 15, whatever.
I mean, bro, we've already covered them. I don't have anything else.
Quite literally. So yeah, we'll probably end things off with Lecce 1, Empoli 0. But is my game first?
It is. You've got
yes, it is. Inter 2, Cagliari 2. The previous encounter between these two sides was Cagliari 0, Inter 2. Like I already said, Milan were held to a 3-3 draw at the Mappe earlier that day, so with a victory here for Inter, just a draw would have been sufficient in the Derby della Madonnina to celebrate their 20th Serie A title, getting the second star in front of the Milan faithful. Lautaro and Pavard sat out bans with De Vrij and Cuadrado back on the bench. The Sardinians had Naitan, Nandez and Deola suspended, with Pavoletti, Petagna and Mancosu still injured, plus Inter owned Aristagno, a late absentee, with tonsillitis. What a nightmare.
Tonsillitis. Poor guy. I wonder who he kissed.
I remember they used to call that the Parcheville disease. The kissing disease. 3-5-2 for Inter. Sommer in goal. Backline of Bastonia, Cerbi and Bissek. DeMarco on the left, Darmian on the right. Midfield trio of Barella, Çalhanoğlu and Mkhitaryan. And the front two of Sanchez and Thuram. A 5-4-1 for Claudio Ranieri. Fucking right. Scuffet in goal and a backline of Pardo, Hatzidiakos, Mina, Aubert and Augello. Luvumbo, Sulemana, Makumbu and Yankto forming the midfield four, with Eldor Shomorodov up front, just being lengthy, just having those legs covering that ground. Long stride, it works. For the play-by-play, Inter opened the scoring in the 12th minute through Thuram. Sanchez pulled the ball back from the byline for Thuram to tap in. Scuffet then did well to deny a DeMarco volley just after halftime, and again to deny a Hakan free kick in the 61st. Scuffet again showing us what a good goalkeeper he is. In the 64th minute, Cagliari made it 1-1 through Eldor Shomorodov. It was an Aubert long ball that was knocked down by Luvumbo to Shomorodov, who beat Sommer for power with a first-time strike. In the 74th minute, Hakan scored a penalty. Çalhanoğlu made no mistake from the spot following a Mina handball in the box.
Yes, Tamino, basically.
Exactly. In the 83rd minute, Viola got the equalizer again quite late on in the game. Prati's looping header was knocked on by Lapadula for Viola to slot into the bottom corner. Controversy regarding that goal, because there was a handball by Lapadula to assist Viola. If you look at the rules make it super subjective because it has the whole accidental thing in it. I hate the deliberate and accidental debate. It's football. Chop the arms off. Would that have happened? Like, technically, I don't think...
side, probably, because his arm was in quite a natural position.
The replays weren't clear enough for me, because I've heard people insist that it was a clear handball. I unfortunately...
his hand, for sure. Mm-hmm. For sure, his hand.
It did. Yeah. With the rule the way it is, the rule is the way it is, and it's just like the Tammy one, and just like this one, they fucked the rule entirely. Like I always say, they've left it up to a human decision. Everything is becoming computerized and accurate except for the handball.
Honestly,
why? Because they want chaos, they want goals.
There's never been a time, I think, in football where a referee being mic'd up is so necessary. We should hear the communication between the VAR room and the official on the pitch. I think that would be great. It would be very entertaining. In the 2 minutes they're taking to check VAR, we're hearing a conversation, we're hearing the discussion. Why the hell not?
And educate me.
Yeah.
Let me hear that discussion. Let me know why, instead of screaming injustice on a podcast.
Yeah.
You know, they make me understand. Educate, inform, entertain. Just a minute later. Just a minute later, Viola was inches away from finding a winner after a strike from distance straight just wide. From the 83rd minute onwards, there was one man playing, and it was Nicolas Viola. And La Padula, to be fair, because
was awesome.
In the 94th minute, Viola had a free header to win the game on a Cagliari counter-attack, but headed La Padula's cross straight at Sommer. Very disappointing for Viola, but to be honest, I think pat on the back for him nonetheless, because that's 2 games in a row against 2 top sides in Serie A, 2 nerazzurri sides in Serie A, where Viola made an impact off the bench, man.
Yeah, and we had him in our 5 fun players to watch list, no?
Yes.
We made that one TikTok. Who were they? Do you remember? There was Goodmanson,
Viola, Saponara
back then.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Saponara 3 times, I think. And then
exactly. There's just Saponara, of course. No, I can't remember who they were.
Luis Alberto, I believe.
Yes, and
Coop Miners.
No.
Someone.
It was someone else.
Check out our TikTok, guys.
Yeah. Bro, at the end, I thought they were gonna beat them.
I thought so as well. But Inter were piling men forward. I don't think they're too confident about beating Milan.
I think they just want to win the league against Milan. So they wanted to get that goal so that if they drew against Milan, they could celebrate in front of the Milan players and the Milan fans.
Hakan's already come out, and said, I still remember how they celebrated when they won the league.
Of course, I still remember.
He's gonna be Maradona in that game, Hakan, bro. He's gonna be the best player in the world.
Yeah. I'm genuinely happy though that this is, well, I'm on the one hand I'm happy, but on the other hand I'm disappointed, bro, because had Inter beaten Cagliari, Milan wouldn't have all the pressure in the world. And had Inter beaten Cagliari and Milan lost to Sassuolo, then the Inter game would be stress-free, pressure-free for Milan.
To a degree.
You know what I mean? You don't risk them.
You're saying if Milan
lost
to Sassuolo.
Exactly, and Inter
yes.
Because then Milan could focus on Roma.
Mm-hmm.
And just say, Inter have already won the league, this derby is kind of redundant.
Or what if Milan beats Sassuolo and Inter drew to Cagliari,
Because Milan's position in the league is fixed, right? It's pretty much confirmed. Okay, granted there are a few games to go, but it would take a devastating fuck up for Milan. And it's against all odds if Milan don't qualify for the Champions League at this point. So you would think that Milan would have the liberty and the freedom, to basically rest players domestically and put all their eggs in the Europa League basket. Mm-hmm. But because it's Inter and because they're going to win the league, suddenly there's this pressure. But the pressure is simply there because it's a derby. That's it. There's no other reason. There shouldn't be any pressure. Milan should be able to focus on the Europa League. Yes. And it's a shame that this is the case. Because it's adding pressure that shouldn't be there.
That's it. I think that's the only, like you're saying, you pretty much hit the nail on the head over there. I think, to be honest, Milan, whatever happens against Inter, if Inter win the league in the San Siro, it's gonna suck. It's gonna be bad. But are we gonna focus? Because Milan are gonna lose the league anyway. Milan aren't gonna win the league, all right? So whether they lose in a devastating fashion, but then advance in the Europa League, are Milan gonna think like big losers, or are they gonna think like winners? Because if they're losers, they focus on not being humiliated by Inter. If they're winners, rotation, try your hardest against Inter, you can lose devastating. Milan celebrated when they won the league and they chanted Figlio di Puttana to Çalhanoğlu and they did all that and they made a meal of it, absolutely. Let Inter do the same. But go ahead and advance against Roma. That's the task. It's as simple as that. Are you going to think like losers or are you going to think like winners? Be winners.
I think at this point, you can't lose to Inter, man. You can't give them the league, though. You know what I mean? That's me, because there are two ways I view this. You can't. There's the rational way where you say, fuck the Inter game, focus on that Europa League game.
Yes.
you know. And then there's the fan opinion, and you can't let Inter have the league against you because it's everything just lined up. It's crazy how everything's lined up. They're gonna get their second star before Milan against Milan.
Then don't lose. Yeah. Milan have the most substitutes.
Milan can
scored.
barely play against Inter without conceding 4 nowadays.
Milan finally have depth. And they have players that on the big stage can do it. Okafor, Chukwueze, and also Jovic. Utilize them and make it happen. That's your job, all right? Draw to Inter, beat Roma. If you lose to Inter, fucking beat the shit out of Roma, beat Leverkusen, and then beat Atalanta in the final. Let's stray away a bit from that because that could be a talking point for the next game as well.
Yeah.
Inter have now set a new club record of 40 consecutive Serie A matches with at least 1 goal scored.
Well done.
They've scored in the last 40 Serie A matches that they've played. This run is crazy. This run has lasted a very long time for Inter. Keep in mind, last season,
they were thinking of sacking him towards the end. It was the Champions League run that stopped them from doing it.
Exactly. And you know what? Milan had a Champions League run as well last season, you know?
Just FYI.
Just FYI. But this run has gone a really long time, and obviously clearly it's not just a run. Despite their dominance, however, Inter will not break Juve's record. The Bianconeri finished the 2013-2014 campaign with 102 points, which even if Inter win all their games from here on out, they cannot do. So yeah, that's
now
kicking
the thing is, you'd think weird, no? They only have the league to focus on. They've pretty much already won it. Wouldn't this have been the next achievement, the next milestone for Inter to hit, break Juve's point record?
No, like to me, point records like just win the league. Like I don't give a fuck.
But don't you want to go down in history as the team who got the most points in Serie A history? You think that's nice. Look, Juve are the team. Everyone's saying, are they going to break Juve's record? It'd be nice if for me, I'm a Milan fan, if it was Milan's record. And I'm sure if it was for Inter, you want to be part of that 11 that broke the all-time Serie A points record. The thing is that it's the toughest point in the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crunch time, as we named our previous episode. The games are getting hard. Inter have dipped in form, it's clear. I don't know if they're fatigued. I don't know if they're demoralized from their Champions League exit. I don't know if they're kind of if they've got one foot, already on the beach, one foot already in a flip-flop, the other one in a football boot. And the fact that playing against teams like Cagliari, this is the toughest time to play them because they're fighting for their lives, as we mentioned last episode.
And I mean, that's probably the biggest reason as to why, because Inter are professionals, they're only playing one competition now, but also the stakes aren't incredibly high for them. No, they're gonna win the league. I guess it's like a combination of the two. Do you think Inter will beat Milan in that game? Just to go back to it a little bit, I think Inter win the league in the San Siro.
I prefer not to speak, bro.
Okay, Jose.
I don't know, man. I don't feel comfortable speaking about that game.
Okay.
I'm really nervous for that.
And
game.
it's on a Monday. Milan on Mondays, bro. Yeah. Milan moody Mondays.
Derby della Madonnina on a
Madonnina.
And apparently
Milan
this weekend's games haven't even been announced yet. The times I saw someone's
someone on the Patreon group. Then they said something like they can't even organize a line at a festival or something. What was it?
It was David. Couldn't organize a route in abroad.
Close enough. David Mastro Battistotta guy.
He's hilarious, dude. Well, let me find the messages he sent last time.
In the meantime, I'm going to say Cagliari are 4 points up against Atalanta and Inter. Massive. Who do they have remaining? Home against Juve. Away against Genoa. Home against Lecce, away to Milan, away to Sassuolo, and home to Fiorentina. Cagliari have to keep this up. They have to keep this up. They are in 14th place on 31 points. They're 4 points from Frosinone, who are in 18th. It's a good gap, considering that these teams can only draw, Frosinone and Sassuolo, and Empoli as well, to be fair. Well, they can't even draw because they've lost, one lost. So it's an okay gap, but they have to keep this form up. Into our first on 83 points.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what David had said. Look, boys, I've crunched the numbers here while I should be working. I've got the spreadsheets and calculators and shit out papers everywhere, right? 6 points gap between Lazio and Roma, with Roma having a game in hand. Lazio's run home. Genoa, Verona, Monza, Empoli, Inter, after they've wrapped up the title and been snorting coke for 2 weeks. And then Sassuolo. And then Roma's run home. Bologna, Napoli away, Juventus, Atalanta away, Genoa, Empoli and Milan. With the possibility of going deep in Europa, if Italy had that 5th spot for Champions League, I still have hope we can catch Roma. I'm holding some hope here. Send me the lucky bean from Malta, boys.
You don't want the lucky bean.
You don't want it. Update on the lucky bean. It gives, but it takes.
It takes. Our dog, dead. Not bullied one that whines on.
Yeah, not the one that was dying on our podcast in season 1. He's still alive.
The young one, full of life.
Yeah,
dead.
In
fucking Marley, bro.
Marley.
Cheers to Marley.
Cheers, Marley.
Yes.
Next, man. Yeah, David's hilarious.
Milan. Marley's dead.
We'll move on. David's hilarious and Marley's dead. Yeah. So let's move on to Sassuolo 3, Milan 3. Unfortunately, yes. It is usually a goal fest.
Yes.
However, the previous encounter was a 1-0 victory for Milan, as clean as it gets. And that was thanks to a Pulisic goal.
There was I believe a 5-2 last season, man, where Sassuolo put 5 past Tatarusanu.
Yeah. I'll never forget that. For Milan, it was a 4-2-3-1 with Sportiello in goal, because Mannian did that thing where he was feeling a bit weird, and he missed the game randomly. He'll be available in literally a few days' time to play in the Europa League, but for this game he was unavailable. I think he was suffering a bit of a knock, in all seriousness. Right? Theo Hernandez started at left back and Florenzi started at right back, with a centre back pairing of Ciao and Kier. Musa and Adli were in the double pivot, with Leao out on the left, Chukwueze on the right, Loftus-Cheek in the pocket, and Jovic playing up front. For Sassuolo, it was a 4-2-3-1 formation with Consigli in goal, Tolian on the right and Viti on the left, with Ferrari and Ehrlich as the centre-back partnership, Bolocca and Obiang as the double pivot, Volpato on the right, Armand Lauriente on the left, Thordsved in the middle, and Pinamonti up front. Now, Milan must have still been shaken by the 1-0 quarter-final defeat at home versus Roma, because in the first half, Sassuolo's first action saw Volpato's cross flipped on by Thordsved for Pinamonti to half volley into the back of the net, and that was a wonderful goal. Moments later, Thordsved squared the ball to Lauriente, whose effort was parried by Sportiello, but the Frenchman leapt onto the rebound, scoring from point-blank range. He had all the time and all the space in the world running in behind over there, with Florenzi and Kier trying to catch up.
That's right side.
Not a very good outing for Milan.
No.
Yeah, Consigli had a great save on Ciao. I don't know if you remember the header. Ciao should have. I'm not even going to say he should have scored, because he did what he had to do. He just directed it goalwards, but Consigli came out of nowhere to save that. Then Chukwueze scored offside on Leao's cross, and this offside was tight, but I can understand it, right? This one, the first one, it was clear, the shoulder off, right?
Yeah.
So that was quite clear. Now, Leao got one back moments later. He deleted Bolocca and Ruan and slotted home casually from a tight angle, and that's our goal of the week. And the second half started with Ruan dispossessing Adli, and the action led to Lauriente scoring after being played through by Gregoire Defrel, who's having a really nice ending to the season. Defrel,
he is stepping in for Berardi.
It's not common of him. He usually does a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
Lauriente messed up an amazing opportunity on the counter. Huge. This would have honestly confirmed the victory for Sassuolo because it would have killed them. They had a numerical advantage. He was in a good position centrally. Could have played someone in on his left. Could have played someone on his right. He just hung on to it for too long, and he ended up losing the ball. And that
Should I get my hat trick? Should I pass? Should I get my hat trick? Should I pass?
So reckless. And then Milan actually scored in the counter. So Leao's cross was palmed into the path of Luka Jovic. In the 63rd minute, Chukwueze scored a screamer, and this was disallowed. And even if you look at the image, you can't even see the Sassuolo.
This one was
It was
bullshit.
weird, man.
This one was
really
bullshit. This was like the Moise Keane
It was
one
tighter
earlier
than
this
the Keane
season.
one. The
Probably.
Keane one, you can say, okay, it's his boot. It's the tip of his boot. This is the tightest offside call I've ever seen in my life.
To me, like no. To me, no. Not
From the images I saw, it looked like a spectator that was offside.
Where the fuck is the infringement?
Yeah.
What was unfair to the Sassuolo defender over there? What advantage did Chukwueze have over there?
Yeah.
Nothing. Zilch, zero. There's absolutely no way that should ever be offside. Even if they say black on white, like if it's even the tightest. What was offside?
Yeah.
What was offside, bro?
Honestly, it was a really tight call. I was disappointed because that goal was phenomenal by Chukwueze.
Chukwueze has been super. He's been amazing, full of life and sprite.
So in the 63rd minute, of course, Chukwueze scored this goal, right? Milan went on to equalize, of course, at the end of the game. Okafor, he slammed home after Giroud and Chao helped knock the ball down for him to smack into the back of the net. Okafor, by the way, is a fantastic goal-scoring substitute.
Yes,
I don't know how he keeps doing it. I feel like I've barely watched this guy play, but he keeps scoring. You know what I mean?
I like Noah, man. I like Noah.
Absolutely. But Chukwueze, man, was playing so well, and it's almost like he scored that amazing goal. It was ruled out for offside. It was like, all right, out.
I don't get it.
Yeah, well done, Chukwueze, out.
I don't get it. He was the most influential player as Milan were fighting for an equalizer and then a winner.
He looked fired up, man.
He looked fired up. You're probably going to start Pulisic against Roma, unless, to be honest, I think what Milan should do against Roma is go Pulisic in the 10, Chuku on the right.
And drop RLC, right? Drop
RLC, in that game, then perhaps bring him on for some fucking meat in the middle.
Some strength.
We didn't mention Giroud's miss.
Oh yeah.
Against Roma, Chukwueze. Again, just Chukudona.
Chukudona's amazing.
Fucking literally turned into Chukudona and deleted one or two players. He took it to the byline and dribbled on the byline. It's like, how the hell didn't the ball go out? Squared it to Giroud and he hit the crossbar. Like,
I don't know why he was trying to power that shot into the roof of the net.
Because the keeper was right in front of him. To be fair, it was at the near post. He can only beat him for power. But I don't know if he was leaning back.
Yeah. One thing that's clear about Milan this season, and especially when they line up with something like this, like Musa and Adli in the double pivot, that defense has no protection.
No,
and people have been talking about this, man. It was a clear gap from the transfer market. The moves were nice, they were exciting. You know, sure, bring in Reinders, sure, bring in Musa, sure, but you need to replace Kessie, man.
Yes,
you need to replace Kessie.
Yes,
in a double pivot, you need someone to win that ball back, to sit in front of that defense and offer them some protection, man.
Absolutely.
And you know, and of course the situation looks worse because of the whole defensive crisis and the fact that so many players were out for a long time, to the point that now the centre backs at Milan don't look confident at all. Like, you have Chao really rusty, and Kier, this was Madonna. He looks past it. He looks way past it.
Kier is done.
It's done.
In my opinion.
Done, at this level. And you can't play a high line trying to fucking press and create, and you have Kier as a centre back.
Tomori's back for the Roma game because he was out in the last one due to suspension. He didn't play in this one. So that's a nice, refreshed Fikayo Tomori in the next game. But like you said, bro, Adli and Musa. Now, the thing is, you get past Adli and Musa, there's Kier and Florenzi on the right, and there was Armand Lauriente on the left, so he was making quick work of them, easy, and Kier, you think that he's a veteran, So at least he'll be positioned well. That I don't even think he's been positioned well, to be honest, here. I think he's been clumsy.
And he
off
throws
the ball.
himself into challenges.
Yes,
man.
bro,
Recklessly.
he's reckless.
Yeah,
He's always been a reckless player, but he had that like he could recover before the unfortunate injury. Now you could say, if you're Pioli, I need a crusher when we play such controlling football. What if Milan went out there and really controlled the game against Sassuolo? Sassuolo are battling relegation and have a great track record against the top two Milan teams.
Milan did control the game against Sassuolo as well. Like there's no argument about it.
But they're not always going to have the ball. Sassuolo are going to attack Milan.
Of course.
Attack Milan. You say maybe Musa's that guy. Musa will be that guy when he stops trying to dribble everyone every time.
No, because it's not really his style though. Musa plays for the national team as a winger. You know what I mean? Like he's not that.
He's a mezzala.
Yeah,
he's a mezzala.
Yeah. You're not gonna make him into a ball-winning midfielder. You know. Statistically, you know, Milan did well this game. Everything spanks Sassuolo, to be honest with you. But the fact is that they conceded those chances. And it was early, it was messy, it was too much for them to handle, man, early on. But yeah, I have to give it to Milan though. They came back, and they could have even won the game with the way they were going, because they looked like they were going to score with every single attack. Because Sassuolo's defense is also shambolic, by the way.
Yes,
absolutely shambolic. So
and Milan put 5 past them. 2 were offside. 1 was offside. I've heard a lot of people change their opinion again overnight about Pioli's future. I am not going to make any comment until I see the Roma game and I see the Inter game. That's where there's judgment on Pioli on Judgment Day, Monday.
Judgment Day, and I'm not prepared.
I am
not prepared at all. I have no idea what to expect, man.
It would.
Was it Spalletti who described Milan? No. Spalletti, I think, yes, he described Milan as a chameleon. He said they're his favourite team to watch because they're like a chameleon, because they're always changing. You never know what to expect. And that's how I feel as a fan as well.
It's true. Milan. It's true.
Yeah, you were going to say?
Wouldn't it be nice if Milan had such a strong system and discipline and balls?
Oh God, the Conte talk again, man.
It's Conte. You're saying Conte. If Conte ticks those boxes, then maybe, man. And he does. But wouldn't it be nice if Milan were finally at a stage where they don't randomly concede 3 against Sassuolo? It would be, because Milan have incredible individuals. Now, okay, this was rotation after a loss to Roma, very demoralizing. Leao played, Theo played, Loftus-Cheek played, so perhaps it should have still been done. Disappointing, man. Disappointing. Milan should be at a stage where at least, no matter what happens, you're not conceding 3 in these games, because it shows a significant weakness. A significant weakness.
Especially against the Ballardini side. Granted, of course, Loriente was inspired, and these teams tend to show up when they're when they've got a large platform to express themselves. You know what I mean? When they've got many people actually watching, unlike the 4 people that go to the Mappe Stadium. They tend to play better, and this was, of course, the case. For Sassuolo, this is the second game in a row where they threw a 2-goal lead.
That's true.
Yeah, so Ballardini maybe has changed his ways a little bit, and he's not as tight as he used to be. He's been ran through.
He's had one hell of a night, bro.
Looking at the table.
I have it here, bro.
You have it there? Please.
Sassuolo are in 19th on 26 points. They're 2 points behind Empoli in 17th, so that's 2 points from safety. Milan on an island in second place, 69 points, 6 ahead of Juve, and 14 behind Inter. Yeah. Next game is the Derby della Mole.
This is how our dog died, by the way.
Watching
this game.
Previous encounter was a 2-0 victory for Juve. Shout out to our patron Andrew Batman, who was at the game with the Torino faithful.
La bella vita.
la vita è bella.
Yes,
brother. What a life, huh? But despite the outcome of the game and maybe the nature of the game, the atmosphere among the Torino fans looked, 45 minutes before the game, and they were all... It looked like how the hell do they keep that energy up for that long? Very impressive stuff. Toro saw their European ambitions, in inverted commas, take a hit with the 3-2 defeat at Empoli. And now they had Gigi, Ginetis, Pellegrini and Shores on the treatment table. For Juve, it was just Arkadiusz Milik that was out. 3-4-1-2 formation for Torino with Vanya in goal and a backline of Rodriguez, Bongiorno and Tamez. Bongiorno, buonasera, buonanotte, man. What a fucking player. Voivoda on the left, Bellanova on the right, and Linetti and Ricci in a double pivot. Vlasic playing behind Zapata and Sanabria. 3-5-2 for Allegri's men. Szczesny in goal, backline of Gatti, Bremer and Danilo. Bremer, Lemmer, Fremer. What a fucking player, man. Cambiaso on the right, Kostic on the left, and a midfield trio of McKennie, Locatelli and Rabiot, with Vlahovic and Chiesa up front.
Vlahovic, Paovic, Larovic, what a shit player. If we're gonna fucking do this whole rhymey thing.
Vlahovic, Paovic. Vlahovic, how of which did you miss that? In the 6th minute, he should have scored after being put on a plate by Chiesa, but the Serbian struck the post. He had another he had another chance in the 30th, but his first touch let him down, and Vanya came out, made himself big. He opens up like he's a fucking spoiler. Amazing stuff by Vanya. Shit stuff by Vlahovic. Zapata had the ball in the net straight after the restart, but the referee had already blown the whistle for a Bellanova push on Filip Kostic, who wouldn't push Kostic, to be fair, he's so annoying. Yildiz Stira Gira was stopped well by Vanya in the 75th, and Juric got sent off in the 86th minute of what could very much be his final derby della Mole, and maybe it'll be Max Allegri's final derby della Mole as well. Juve, if there is someone that deserved to win this match, it would have been Juve, no?
Chiesa, but the only player who deserved to win. No. So the way that this game went, I feel like lately Allegri has been giving this Juve team kind of like a curfew, the equivalent of a curfew.
Yes, you know? Bro, yes. Same substitution, same time, all the time.
But also liberty to attack. The last game, they had the first half, right? Where they attacked. They missed a bunch of chances. Second half, they parked the bus. Right?
Like, nice one, guys. You didn't score. You're fucked now.
And then he complains about the chances missed afterwards. He's like, we didn't take our opportunities and have to park the bus. This time, he gave them 30 minutes, bro. About 30 minutes of play.
Fucking hell.
Juve dominated, for the opening 30 minutes. That's when Vlahovic missed his chances. That's when Juve should have taken the league.
Yes.
That was his plan all along. And then the rest was all Torino, dude. Apart from a few spells by Juve. Cortomuso, right? So Allegri has this whole philosophy, this whole Cortomuso thing about how a 1-0 winning by one, winning ugly, edging, just
bro, don't mention edging, man.
Again, Matthew loves edging. Just getting the ball across the line ever so slightly, in a horse race. You call it a horse race. I don't know, that sounds so
when
weird.
Horses race.
When horses race.
Yes.
In a horse race. It doesn't matter by how much you win, basically. That's the philosophy.
Like
it only matters, exactly. If it's a centimeter, he wins. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a centimeter, an inch, or a foot. It doesn't bloody matter.
Yeah, it's the motion of the ocean, guys.
So it seems that he's applying this philosophy on a macro scale now, Allegri, where he's basically saying, all right, we only need 8 points, now 7. So he's only thinking about Champions League qualification. He doesn't care about how he gets it. He just wants to finish in that top 4 spot.
The thing is, what he's doing in the process, because system would be great if Juve were getting significant points out of it. Open their last 10 games and look at what their results have been like. Open Juve's last 10 games. They've been abysmal. They've won, I believe, 1 game
So they beat Fiorentina in the league. That's the cup over there against
Ignore the
Lazio.
cup.
Yes, and they beat Frosinone.
Wow. And then all the others, losses,
So
draws
draw
in the
to
last...
Empoli, lost to Inter, lost to Udinese, draw to Verona, lost to Napoli, draw to Atalanta, draw to Genoa, lost to Lazio, draw to Torino now. Yeah.
So, Corto Muso. What? The Corto. It's shit. We already know that there's a feud between he's causing a divide between the Juve fans. There's the curva that's respect him and love him for all that he's done in the past with Juve. Fair enough. They're supporting him till the end of the season. You stay shouting that you want him sacked when there's still pivotal matches to be played doesn't exactly help, right? But even in the locker room, Chiesa has openly, I don't know if he openly came out or if he was caught saying that he's always the first one substituted. He's pissed off. He's like, I am always the first one that's substituted. Right. And if you look to check, he is always the first one to be subbed out.
Maybe that could be as well to protect him, to be honest, because he's also the one who suffered the worst injuries.
Yeah.
Compared to everyone else. So, no, I do think that there must be tension between the players and the manager and the management. Right? I don't think Giuntoli wants to continue or have his first preseason with Allegri at the helm. I'm sure he would much prefer a more progressive-minded manager to build a team for, because he's building a team for this person.
Question. If you're Milan, if you're Juve, would you rather, as a fan, as a player, whatever, know that your manager isn't going to be with you next season with 6 games left to go and you're still in Europe, still in Coppa and all that? Would you rather know then this manager isn't going to be with us next season and maybe even, who your manager is going to be next season? Or would you rather have no idea, say this is our manager and then it gets announced in the summer?
No idea.
I'd want to know, bro.
No, but if you
know... It can drive you, man.
But yes, it can drive you, but it can also disrupt the locker room. It can get people talking, I don't want to play for him. Why are we playing for this person? You know how players are, then they start contacting their agents, they start swapping agents, they start speaking publicly. It's good to keep some things until the end of the season. Right now, they're on a mission. They're tasked with the task of tasking the league, right? They have to get this done. They need to get that top 4 position, and then what happens. But right now, it's Allegri, whether you fucking like it or not.
I think with Pioli, they shouldn't. With Allegri, they should, because that'll motivate. Chiesa will be like, thank God that he'll score a hat-trick the next game immediately.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else to address from this Derby della Mole.
Not fucking particularly. I'm being honest. I think Torino would have done well to get a point out of it, but they were also quite uninspiring in that sense. The fact that maybe we can discuss who an ideal manager would be for them next season.
For Torino?
If Juric were to leave, which he probably is. I want to give credit to Juric because Torino have a good team.
A decent team.
Sassuolo have a decent team. Torino had a decent team when they were battling relegation 5 seasons ago. Juric has kept them there, bro.
Yeah.
He has kept them between 9th and 11th.
Just off a European spot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They had a really, really good spell. I remember they were literally... The last season, Belotti was fit. They were 15th for the majority of the season. Literally battling relegation, man. And then Juric came in and he's really managed to get them to a spot that is at least respectable. 9th place, they're above Fiorentina this season. So I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
I don't know who they could get after, man. Cairo's he's got quite the task here of replacing a very good manager.
Task with the task of replacing Juric.
Yeah. I honestly don't know because you think of the other managers in the league like Palladino. I'm not sure if this would even be a step up for Palladino. It's pretty much a sideways move for him.
They're not going to want someone like that, man.
Gilardino is a fantastic option as well. But again, he's a Genoa whose project looks better than Torino's because they've got these American owners, 777 Group or whatever they are, and they're actually investing in the team and they seem to be building it. Whereas Torino kind of, okay, granted, they've brought in a few exciting players recently, but
Ricci
overall,
being one of them.
Yeah, Ricci,
Zapata,
Bellanova. It's true that they're improving, but nothing to the compared to Genoa.
777. Kevin. Torino find themselves in 9th place on 45 points, just 4 behind Napoli. The great Napoli, that is. Juve in 3rd on 63 points. They are 20 points behind Inter.
Hot dog. So this has been a weird one. I don't know if you're feeling the energy. Today was a weird day. It was windy. I was tired.
Hot, windy, sandy.
Work was busy. I was in a bit of a weird mood. Like,
it was like today at work, it was either like super busy to the point that I can't breathe. Yeah. And I finish my tasks and I'm like, Now what? It was that kind of day.
Now we prepare for the podcast. Yeah. Bologna 0, Monza 0.
Another fucking cracker.
So it was a 4-1-4-1 for Bologna, please, Matthew.
2-7-2.
Thank you.
Oh my god, you actually did give yourself Bologna.
I'm telling you, bro. I
miss you so much, Bologna.
Skorupski was in goal for Bologna with Stefan Posch on the right and Christensen on the left, with Lukumi and the Bokema as the centre-back troublemakers. Freuler was playing in front of the defence with Riccardo Orsolini on the right and Urbanski on the left, with Ferguson and Derbyshire playing behind Joshua Zirkzee.
Zirkzee.
For Monza, it was a 4-2-3-1 formation with Michele Di Gregorio in goal, who...
Madonna, man. Madonna.
This game wasn't Bologna-Monza. It was Orsolini against Di Gregorio.
Literally, bro. And fucking Di Gregorio won.
Di Gregorio smashed him, yeah. Carboni was the left back with Samuele Birindelli as the right back.
Best keeper in the league. Continue. Okay, man.
Mari and Itzo as a centre-back partnership with Akpa Akpro and Warren Bondo as the centre midfield double pivot, with Kolpani and Zerbin on the flanks, with Juric up front and Pessina playing behind him. So yes, Warren Bondo always, it's one of our favourite name combinations because we really think it doesn't match. Warren Bondo.
What's the other
brilliant
one, bro?
Which one? Jean-Daniel Akpa Akpro. There are quite a few on Monza, to be honest.
There's a Dan and Doye.
Dan and Doye is hilarious as well, yeah.
It's like, just call me Dan, man.
For the second time in a row, Bologna only managed a goalless stalemate in Serie A. This game saw Di Gregorio at his best and the finishing at its worst. Take nothing away from Di Gregorio, though. Bologna went from 8 wins in 9 to 2 0-0s in a row versus Frosinone and Monza, so it's safe to say they have dipped ever so slightly. These are games they would have been winning earlier on. Monza, on the other hand, were coming off back-to-back defeats against Torino and Napoli, so it's not like they were on inspired form either. So Di Gregorio made 2 fantastic saves to deny Orsolini on 2 separate occasions. Earlier on, Zirkzee broke a few ankles. Ferguson tried from distance. Di Gregorio rushed out to deny Ferguson at one point. Orsolini was once again denied, and Freuler missed a one-on-one. That pretty much sums up the game, to be honest with you. Ferguson did his ACL.
Fuck, man.
Absolutely devastating news because he's been in the form of his life.
He's been fucking insane. He's only 24 years old. I really hope this doesn't become a thing with Ferguson, the poor guy. And fucking Scotland had historically, finally made the Euros.
Oh my god.
And he's their guy and he's missing the fucking Euros.
That sucks. Man. That's so cruel.
Ferguson, it's fine, bro. You'll go to the Euros again with Scotland and the World Cup. You'll be 26 and 28. You'll be not a veteran, you'd be in your prime, bro. And it'll be totally fine. You're still
with
a young
bionic
guy.
knee.
With a
Colpani showed that he's a little bit of a douchebag. Bro, at one point...
I'd be a douchebag if I were.
No, bro, they played the ball to him, crossed it in. He had all the time and space in the world. And he tried a scissor kick, man. Come on, he didn't even hit the target. Like, do you want to win? What are you doing?
Monza.
Trying to impress.
Colpani probably
He's just
wants a
improving his
move
CV
away.
now, trying to update his highlight reel.
Exactly, literally that, so that someone splashes 40 mil on him, like, makes the club rich, he leaves.
You know what was missing from this game, man? Salamakers, because he was banned. I think, they were missing a little bit of something off that other side, because Orsolini was causing mayhem down that right. And even Zirkzee didn't have a bad game, just because he didn't score, he was breaking ankles out there.
I saw a couple of clips of Zirkzee's hold-up play in this game.
Really nice, man.
Milan. He is made for that Milan system, man.
Yeah.
Made for that Milan system.
It's true, man. So mobile as a forward. I think the best chance of the game, apart from that Colpani chance, which didn't end up being that easy because of the way he tried to execute it, but the best one was that Freuler 1-on-1. I think that's when Bologna should have taken the lead. Yeah. But of course, they did not. The XG for this game, to give you an idea of how it went, Bologna had an XG of 2.11. That's just Di Gregorio stopping two expected goals. While Monza had 0.43, that 4.43 probably being that Colpani chance. 62% ball possession for Bologna, with 7 shots on target for Bologna to Monza's 0.
Bro, this is what I want to say. Because, sure, Bologna's last 2 games were both 0-0. 0-0 to Frosinone, 0-0 to Monza in the famous 8 finals, where it's pivotal for them. Okay, with the coefficient, there's a slight chance that they'll even make it if Roma pass them. But the fact that, okay, they didn't score and they're struggling for goals, right? But that they don't concede is absolutely crucial. And how don't they concede? Firstly, okay, good defense. That is what anyone
Calafiori didn't concede.
That is what anyone would say. Okay, they have a good defense, but it's not just a defense. The way in which they play football in such a controlling way, their whole team is defending.
Absolutely.
Their midfielders are defending. Freuler is a centre back. Like Freuler is like he steps in there so much. You see Abishar and Ferguson and Urbanski and Orsolini coming back. The way in which they play football allows them to keep clean sheets. It's not like Lukumi, Beukema, Posh and Christiansen are the 4 best defenders in the league, you know?
It's a team effort, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a young team as well. Average age of 26, this team that was fielded. So yeah, pretty good. Do you think Bologna will qualify for the Champions League? Ignore that 5th spot for now. We're talking top 4.
Top 4... let me just pull out the table and stare at it.
Of course. We've got Roma.
No?
You think Roma catch up?
I think Roma catch up because of... I said no very confidently there, and I'm unsure.
Check the fixtures. Let's take a look here, because I put you on the
because
spot
they have the direct encounter away to Roma.
That's the next game.
That's the next game. And then they play Udinese home, Torino away, Napoli away, Juve home. Okay. Keep in mind, Roma are in another competition. Roma have those 15 minutes to play. It's a tight one, but at the end of the day, bro, if Roma Udinese ends in a draw, Bologna maintain a 3-point lead ahead of Roma.
A slender
lead. I think Roma jumped them. I think they do.
That I think very much be the way they've been playing, man. With the Rossi, just you have to count them in. Bologna have had a 2-game dip before, and they bounced back like nothing had happened.
Yes, and they went on a 9-game run where they only lost 1 game.
Exactly, and they won 8. Which is mental.
The only one they lost was against Inter.
Yeah,
aliens would lose against Inter.
Another observation, just one more observation before we move on. I thought Zerbin was highly involved for Monza, and I really like the way he played. Pretty good player.
I noticed that.
Yeah, he is currently, I believe, on loan from Napoli, if I'm not mistaken, Zerbin. So, Napoli, man, again, they've got Zerbin, Gaetano, and Khedira on loan who are all thriving. So, yeah.
Maybe if De Laurentiis wants to save some money, he could call these guys back.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's going to make... Now we'll get into it. He's going to make so much money off of Osimhen. He's got so much money he's going to make, man.
Of course. Bologna are in 4th with 59 points, while Monza are down in 11th with 43 points.
Napoli 2, Frosinone 2. The previous encounter was a 3-1 victory away from home for Napoli, but lest we forget, Frosinone smashed Napoli 4-0 in the Coppa away from home. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Frosinone demolished Napoli 4-0.
Which manager did they have? That was it Rudy Garcia?
I think it... Was it Rudy Garcia?
I think it must have been, right?
I think it was Rudy Garcia.
Oh, no, or Mazzarri. I can't
That's
remember.
a debate.
Fucking
Definitely
hell.
wasn't Calzona.
Could have been anyone, man.
You want to find out while I do the intro? Napoli got back on track with a 4-2 win over Monza. They had Ngonch suspended, plus Oliveira and Jesus carrying injuries. Frosinone fell into the bottom 3 after just 4 draws in 10 rounds, not a single victory, but were coming off a goalless draw with Bologna. Monterisi, Bonifazi, Harrui, Oyono and Calai were out of action. It was Mazzarri. Thought so. They were getting better under Rudy.
Yeah, I think so.
Continuity, by the way. 4-3-3 formation for Napoli. Meret in goal. Very mixed game for him. Rui on the left, Ostegard, Rahmani as the centre-backs, and Di Lorenzo on the right. Zielinski, Lobotka and Anguissa formed the midfield three that destroyed everyone last season. Kvaratskhelia, Osimhen and Politano up front. It was a 3-4-1-2 formation for Frosinone. Turati in goal, much improved Turati. He's really grown into this league. Okoli, Romagnoli, Lirola at the back, Zortea out on the right, Valeri out on the left, Berincea and Mazzitelli played with Brescianini just ahead of them, and Sule and Khedira starting up front together. Where did I go? In the 16th minute, Politano opened the scoring. He scored his second beauty in 2 weeks, this time with a trademark Tira Gira, fantastic goal. Could have easily been our goal of the week. Could have easily been. Meret saved Sule's poor penalty on the half-hour mark after Rahmani clumsily brought down Khedira. Sule had a perfect record before this, 4 out of 4. He's now 4 out of 5. It was a shit penalty though. In the 50th minute, Khedira 1. This was Meret's fuck up. He hung on to the ball for way too long and was robbed by Sule. Sule knocked it to Khedira, who slotted it in past the Italian shot stopper with ease under him. I think, to be honest, he could have even done better with the save. But Meret does have that error in him. He does have that. And he hung on to the ball for way too long. Maybe he was too confident after saving the penalty. He had options. It was weird.
I'm 27 years old now. I'm no longer a kid.
No spring chicken. In the 63rd minute, Osimhen scored. Kvara mishit a volley goalwards. And the ball was knocked in by Osimhen, who managed to beat the offside trap, sliding in and knocking in that ball. 10 minutes later, however, in the 73rd, too easy for Frosinone going forward as Zortea got past Rui without any struggle whatsoever and crossed the ball into an unmarked Khedira, who headed in without problem. Mario Rui was frustrated, and in the 98th minute, he got a red card. Osimhen was missing chances left, right and centre. I have Osimhen and Mario Rui on my Fanta. I was happy that he finally scored. I was winning, and then Mario Rui in the 98th minute got a red card, okay? That's me. Rui looked awful. The Fava bean. Rui looked awful in that 1-1 with Dembasek, which saw the Frosinone man get the better of him. Rui frustratedly brought down Dembasek, leading to his second yellow card. First talking point. Khedira this season 3 goals against his parent club this season, because he scored one
of course,
in the Coppa.
reverse fixture. In the Coppa.
In the Coppa.
Huh. He's definitely inspired against them. He's having a pretty good season.
When he's good, he looks really good. Athletic, intelligent. He's always been intelligent.
His movement's good. I remember telling Alan that he was always a player I never quite got the hype for when he was in Serie B, and I used to watch Bari and I used to watch the Moroccan international team. I was like, this Khedira guy's got numbers, but every time I watch him, he doesn't impress me.
But it's weird. We choose the wrong games to watch him. We choose. Like I remember you used to say every time you watch Harry Kane, he doesn't score.
It was crazy. I had this crazy thing. I would hardly ever watch him, to be honest with you, because that was the case. But every time I flicked them on, I was like, this is Harry Kane. then eventually he did. And once he started, he didn't stop.
Napoli's defensive woes, brother. Napoli's defensive woes. Now, a couple of talking points. Firstly, hashtag bring back Kim Min-jae. Because
that's the thing, apparently.
That move worked out for absolutely no one. It didn't work out for Napoli, it didn't work out for Bayern, and it didn't work out for Kim. They're trying to get him back on a loan, apparently. This is all talk for now. But this is what it does, bro. Last season, I was really praising Rahmani. Why? Because everyone raved about Koulibaly before and Rahmani was alongside him. And then that one season, everyone raved about Kim Min-jae and no one raved about Rahmani, who was the common factor over there. And I thought people were overlooking him. But contraire, how having a great defender next to you makes you look so much better. They were absolutely right to praise Kim Min-jae and absolutely right to praise Koulibaly, obviously. They were kind of right to maybe overlook Rahmani a bit.
I think it's more that, okay, fair enough. I understand your point, of course. Having Koulibaly or fucking Kim Min-jae next to you is going to make you look better, right? Of course. However, having Østigård or Juan Jesus next to you is going to make you look worse. It works both ways.
That's true.
Juan Jesus hasn't been... And I don't think this season I've watched Napoli many times and said that was Rahmani's fault. You know, I feel, he hasn't had the greatest season, but overall as a team they haven't had the greatest season. I wouldn't single him out though as a weak point. He definitely needs a centre-back partner, man. If there's one of the centre-backs we're gonna have to blame or replace here, it's Østigård or Juan Jesus, obviously. In my opinion, actually, not obviously. I don't know. Bringing Kim Min-jae obviously would be a solution. Try bringing him on loan. However, it would be a short-term solution because I highly doubt they're going to splash the cash to bring Kim Min-jae in, and I think Bayern would want quite a bit considering the amount they paid.
They bought him for like 40 or 50 milli. So
exactly.
Isn't it crazy that you don't replace a player like that?
I know, right?
It's crazy. It's absolutely...
And it happens often.
They bought Nathan. Really top.
To be fair, not too bad, but nothing close.
No. I mean, isn't he like 19, Nathan?
No, not 19. He's a bit older, I think. But
you want to check that out?
But this... I find it... Sorry, I'm just going to say that I find it absolutely ridiculous that they're just... Napoli's solution has been, let's go back to that team that won the league. Perhaps it's time to move on. Perhaps stop looking at Kim, stop looking at the assistant manager of Spalletti. Sell Osimhen, get a good manager, build from scratch, man.
Literally that. That's what Napoli did to get that Spalletti team in the first place. They're gonna go back to the 80s to win it.
He's 23, Nathan.
He's 23, not 19. But played in the Brazilian league before. That's
pretty 19 of him.
That is pretty 19 of him. But just terrible ownership and management for Napoli this season, because you notice and then how they got rid of Rudi Garcia prematurely, because it was obvious that Napoli weren't going to go back to the team that they were instantly. None of us had them to win the league this season. We said they're still going to be good, but slow start, and then they'll grow into it under their new manager. But Rudi Garcia, firstly, they got a manager from Saudi because he plays a 4-3-3. And I will die on that hill. I strongly believe that's why they got him, man. Because he plays a 4-3-3. They got him from Saudi.
Of course.
sacked him immediately, even after there were moments of promise when they were 2-0 down against Milan and they got them 2-2. They progressed in the Coppa. They let him go for Mazzarri. Why? Because he was their coach when they had Hamsik and Lavezzi and Cavani.
What is this logic?
He's trying to write a storyline. He's a movie guy. He's not a real guy, man. He's an idiot. And then that's not working out. Obviously, because anyone who signs Mazzarri is battling relegation. Napoli weren't battling relegation. They brought him in. It's the equivalent of Milan getting Nicola. It's weird, man. And then who did they bring in? They bring in the assistant manager of their manager last year.
Who is currently managing the Slovakia national team.
Absurd stuff.
Yeah.
And the Calzona was the one I understand the most. That's the craziest part, man. It's the one I understand most. Let's, at least for the final few games, give them some familiarity.
Look at his record with Slovakia. That's pretty good, man. He's got a lot of wins.
They beat Bosnia and Herzegovina, Iceland, Luxembourg. Malta beat Luxembourg 7-1 once, bro. It was an Udon walk-off fucking masterclass, bro. Incredible. Unbelievable.
Oh yes, I mean, they're not crazy teams.
Liechtenstein.
He's getting it done.
Iceland. I mean, those are the teams he's going to play, eh?
Yeah.
Meret. Does he need to be replaced? Yes.
Yes, you think?
Yes.
I think, to be honest, they're going to have a lot of money.
I
think there are cheap alternatives that are better than him in the league.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Meret's been overhyped from day one, comparing him to Donnarumma when Donnarumma was coming up through the ranks at Milan and Meret was coming up through the ranks at Napoli. Super overhyped. His only good season was that season Napoli won the league, where how many shots did he face? Not many. Saved a few penalties because he's a specialist from penalties. I'm sounding a bit rash because he made a mistake. He saved a penalty this game. I get it, but never saw it with him.
He's error prone. Be honest. He's error prone. That's his biggest problem. He's got mistakes in him.
Mm-hmm.
He plays with a certain there's this feeling you get where you don't fully trust your keeper, and that's not obviously great, especially when you have teams like Monza who can fully rely on their goalkeeper, and even Empoli to a certain extent. You know, you've got Caprile, who is less error prone.
Verona,
with Montepò. Yeah, there are quite a few goalkeepers, man, who make fewer mistakes and who produce saves of a similar, if not better,
Lecce with Falcone as well.
Yes, I would browse and look around, shop around. But I think the main thing that Napoli need to do right now is try to fortify that defense. Bring in a left back, bring in a centre back. You know, those I think are the main things. Left back, centre back, and then bring in an animal as a striker. A fucking beast. You know?
They're gonna make good money.
Forget about Osimhen because he's the type of player, Osimhen, man, that you're gonna be dreaming about and thinking about. It's like Cavani, you know, like how they never quite they got Higuain after. Higuain made them forget about Cavani.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
They need someone to make them forget about
Osimhen made them forget about Higuain, and now they need someone exactly. Yeah. There are options. So many good strikers on the market, man. So many good strikers, and they're gonna make a lot of money. Now, they should technically go the Milan route because Zielinski is leaving as well. They've got a problem in the left back department, a problem in the centre back department. They obviously need a new midfielder. So they should invest it quite evenly. But they're smart with their attacking signings, man. Kvara came out of nowhere. Osimhen came from Lille, I believe. So they are smart in that regard.
Yeah, and the wing department is totally sorted.
Yes.
You've got Kvaratskhelia, Politano and Gaetano coming back, and Cyril and Gonj. You're okay there.
Yes.
So, a midfielder, a centre back, someone to replace Mario Rui, and I'm forgetting who the other guy is right now. He's not very impressive. He joined this year. What's his bloody name?
Fucking What the hell? He's Brazilian, no?
Oliveira, yes, well done, bravo. I think they need to maybe sign another left back there.
I think so as well. Osimhen missed a number of chances in this game. Probably enough to bring his price down a bit, man. I bet you they'll get around 100 million for him.
which is good money, to be honest.
But it was previously 140, like were the talks.
I think you could get 120 for Osimhen. He's a freak, man. He's an animal. They're well within their rights to request 120 million for him and to refuse to let him go for it.
They can.
And especially when you really think about the fact that he's 25 years old, it's absolutely insane.
It's crazy.
The strength, the athleticism, the drive, it's crazy. It's now that we've been seeing him a little bit lackadaisical. Maybe that doesn't speak volumes of his mentality. Maybe he could be a little bit less of a baby, but it's true. Though. It's true. Why? How? True. Tell me when in your life you would have expected Victor Osimhen to miss that one-on-one he had this game in the first half.
It's true.
That was absolutely ridiculous.
Madonna, I was gonna scream.
All the time in the world he had one-on-one.
My fucking Fanta, man. Madonna, now he drove me nuts in that game, man.
One of those times, man, where again you have too much time to think about it.
Leao, Osimhen, and Neymar love social media. They love social media, and they're clown emojiing people that talk about them and sarcastically liking things and unfollowing people.
Have you seen this Neymar one?
Bro, it's crazy. It's crazy.
What they call him, a gringo cocksucker.
Gringo ball sucker.
Gringo ball sucker. Someone posted that tweet.
Gringo, just so you know, someone that is not Brazilian. It's what Brazilians call someone that isn't Brazilian.
Yeah, same thing like with Mexicans and all that. Someone who's not native, basically.
Exactly.
Someone posted that tweet, basically, this Brazilian journalist praising Mbappe, and he's saying basically he's not arrogant, he's just got this winning mentality, he's a winner at heart. And Neymar's contribution was commenting on that gringo ball sucker. And he posted it. Boop. That's what happens when you go to Saudi. Freedom of speech is back.
Yeah.
You get it back.
Fucking Leao clown face emoji, obviously what Cassano had to say about him, probably because Cassano is a clown. But like, save it for after the game, probably. Have the game of your life against Roma and then tweet that, because kind of like clowning him and then having a bad game, being invisible. Like, he got the L over there and Cassano had the final.
But it's not like he had to prove himself, you know.
No, I know. But they just get off social media. Napoli's European aspirations. Fucked. They can make conference. Yes.
They can make Europa too, potentially. It depends on Atalanta and how they pick up. No, they can.
They can, but they won't.
I just think that the teams above them are much stronger at the moment. But, you know, it takes just... If Napoli converted one of those chances early on in the first half, Frosinone probably wouldn't have come back this game.
Yeah.
And it would have been a totally different story. Let's not forget that these guys had a 3-0 demolition not too long ago, as well as 3 incredible goals in a thriller against Monza as well. You know, they're very capable of turning it up.
Yes.
I think their Champions League aspirations are done, dusted, dead and gone. Like my dog Marley. But their Europa League hopes are still very much alive.
How I hope our mom doesn't watch this episode.
Our mom watches every single episode.
Ma, you're hearing him. Madonna, xo mistija. Napoli are in 8th place on 49 points, while Frosinone are in 18th on 27 points. In the relegation zone. Fuck me, do they have balls though, man, Frosinone. Frosinone have
play a high
balls.
line against anyone, man.
That's in the last 6 games, 4 draws, 2 losses. They're out there getting points, bro.
Yeah.
And Empoli loss, win, loss. It's margins, man, margins.
It is. It's a very exciting end to the season when it comes to the bottom part and the European part. Let's move on, bro, to Lazio Salernitana. That was a 4-1 victory for Lazio. Pretty straightforward for them over there. They started with Christos Mandas in goal, replacing the injured Provedel, who's probably still so upset about what happened. Patrick Casale and Gila at the back in a 3-4-2-1 formation with Marasic, Vesino, Kamada and Lazzari as the midfield 4, with Anderson and Luis Alberto playing behind Castellanos. It's going to be Castellanos alone next year with no one behind him. Ikumwezi started up front for Salernitana under 3-4-2-1 formation with Costil in goal, Pirola, Jerome Boateng and Gyomber at the back, with Bradaric on the left, Zanoli on the right, Major and Koulibaly as a centre midfield 2, with Kandreva and Chan, of course, playing behind the striker Ikumwezi. Ikumwezi. That's a difficult first name. That's so difficult. Chukwubuikem.
That, my friend, is Chukwubuikem.
I can't even say it. The goals came from... the previous encounter was a 2-1 victory for Salernitana.
Crazy.
Lest we forget.
Crazy.
Goals from Immobile, Castanos and Kandreva. Yeah.
The wall of the Lex of Kandreva.
Now, Felipe Anderson bagged the brace this game before announcing that he's off to Brazil to spend some time with his family, to spend more time with his family, as he's just had a kid or something, and he's prioritizing his family. He's 31 years old, which to me, man, you know what, man?
Go for it.
Go for it. Nice.
Do it.
Nice. You're a man who you've had your career, you've had your time away from your family, you've had your hardships, 10 years of non-stop grinding, because a footballer's life is very difficult, it's very rigid, it's very strict.
He had a tough spell in England and he went through that, he did it.
Yeah, he made a name for himself. Now he had a good season at Lazio this year, and an even better one
last
the year
season.
before.
There's a false
now
nine.
It's time, he's going to go to Brazil, spend time with his family while being probably the best player in the league. So enjoy, man, honestly. He scored a brace, yes. Vecino got one and Isaacson got one as well. Chauna managed to get one to make it 2-1 at one point, thanks to a lovely ball by Maggiore.
Early on, because now Lazio opened the scoring in the 7th minute, got their second in the 14th, and 2 minutes later, Chauna scored.
Yeah, but then of course they were absolutely swept aside. So it was, you'd think that this would be a celebration of an event for Lazio, destroying a minnow team, scoring early, attacking, looking positive. However, they had a lot of fan protests to deal with. There was a very tense atmosphere with players jeered during the warm-up. There was a banner reading, "You're not worthy to wear our shirt." And this, of course, was prompted by back-to-back defeats to Juventus in the Coppa Italia and rivals Roma in Serie A. So not looking too good for them over there. And then after the game, of course, you have Luis Alberto and Felipe Anderson announcing that they officially will not be staying. An observation from this game, of course, is that Castellanos was quite wasteful yet again. However, his off-the-ball work was once again top level, especially for that first goal for Felipe Anderson, where he just he pulled the centre-back out of the way, allowing him to just drive in behind and tap it in. Great off-the-ball movement. I see him so much as a 10, man.
Castellanos, not even a 10, second striker, yes. Like playing off the shoulder of a big boy, or something like that.
I think that would be great for him.
I look at this Lazio
team. Numbers
are
always bomber numbers, elsewhere, not in Italy.
I mean, he was in the MLS before.
But in Spain as well. Scored
True.
4 goals against Real Madrid, this guy.
I forgot about that.
Of course.
I look at this Lazio team, and I fully believe that next season it'll be a completely different team. I think so many players are going to leave, man.
I don't know if many players will leave. Many players. I think some of these guys might get a second lease of life, man. Like, Gila shouldn't go because he's really finding himself. I think Patrick will be there. Shasala will probably be there. Vecino probably stays for another year. Kamada, I think, for example, is getting more time under Tudor, so he might actually stay.
That's a possibility, but Kamada's had a very tough time. He doesn't look happy at all. He doesn't seem content in the slightest.
But I don't know if that's just the way he is. You know what I mean?
Could be.
He's not very expressive, is he?
He's
very poker faced.
But he's spoken out. No one said that he's not having a good time. Did he not? Or was it like
as in that he's struggling? But he never said anything about like. I mean, at one point, Zaccagni and him were literally fighting each other on the pitch.
Because Zaccagni would never pass. It was obvious. Like
it was bad. That was really bad. But they seem past it now. He seems to be integrating a little bit better, and he played well this game as well. So yes, this was pretty straightforward. One team destined for the drop. Salernitana, when it comes to the bookmakers, they've started paying out people who bet for Salernitana to get relegated. They're already issuing with the money.
Wow.
Yeah. Lazio, on the other hand, good victory for them. I don't think there's anything else we should probably say about this game.
No.
Chauna once again scored, looking to be that bright spark for Salernitana so they can kiss him goodbye. And Jerome Boateng, thank God they brought him in, really worked.
Great.
So Lazio are in 7th with 49 points, still very much alive, while Salernitana are done and dusted in 20th with 15 points.
Atalanta 2, Verona 2. Bro, I'm still fucking like because of the whole Marley and Mama watching the episode.
We'll give for a warning, we'll give for a heads up. Don't worry about it, dude.
My God, we've done it, huh?
Atalanta maybe we'll make her laugh a bit about it, you know.
I hope so.
Laughter is the best medicine.
Atalanta 2, Verona 2. The previous encounter was a 1-0 away victory for Atalanta. Atalanta, bro, throwing this lead away after looking so convincing in the early stages of this game. Atalanta were coming off a huge European win at Anfield, beating Liverpool 3-0. De Roon and Zappacosta were injured. Palomino and Scalvini. De Roon and Zappacosta were suspended. Palomino and Scalvini injured.
I didn't get the first one. Who was that?
De Roon. And Zappacosta were suspended and Palomino and Scalvini injured. Cruz, Duda and Serdar were injured for Verona. That means that their double pivot of Serdar Duda was demolished, which obviously is very important for them. 3-4-1-2 formation for Atalanta. Carnesecchi in goal. Backline of Jim City, Hien and Toloi. Ruggeri on the left, Home on the right, and the double pivot of Edison and Pasalic with Cope Miners ahead of them and Scamacca starting up front alongside De Ketelare. 4-1-4-1 formation for Verona with Montepò in goal and a backline of Centonze, Magnani, Davidovic and Cabal. Silva was in the holding midfield role with Folorunsho and Suslov just ahead of him. Tiani Noslin out on the right, Lazovic out on the left, and Bonazzoli, for those of you that didn't understand that, was up front, the lone striker role.
By the way, that fullback of Verona is French, by the way, so you might want
Chantons.
you might want to Frenchify his name.
Chantons.
I guess that'll be Saint-On.
Chantons.
Something like that.
Chantons. In the 13th minute, so in the beginning it was all Atalanta. They looked magnificent and Verona looked shambolic. In the 13th minute, Scamacca opened the scoring. He controlled Cope Miner's pass with his left and smashed the half volley in with his right, marking his third goal in 3 games. If he keeps doing this, it's going to be no debate on who's going to have that starting spot for Italy's national team in the Euros, man. What a summer we have coming up, by the way. I forget that there are the Euros.
I love the Euros. I never quite look forward to them. I've said this before. I never quite look forward to them, as in I'm never excited or gassed. But once they start, I'm always like, wow, this is
bro. The day drinking, fucking sun on you, fucking girls, fucking passing, scoring. 5 minutes later, in quick succession, Ederson made the 2 for Atalanta. He finished cleanly, went clean through on goal following a first-time pass by Scamacca. Bro, 2 passes got him clean through on goal immediately. The 2 centre-backs, or rather, the 2 centre-backs in Magnani and Davidovic were absolutely nowhere to be seen, as Ederson had all the time in the world to score. That was very similar to Osimhen's chance, to be fair. Too easy, right?
That's what you'd think.
Right? In the 56th minute, Lazovic brought one back. You'd think it's a consolation. No, Carnesecchi was rooted to the spot as Lazovic placed his shot into the bottom near corner from just outside the area. Inch perfect, like into the side netting, so close to the post but didn't hit the post. Delicious. It was Noslin that found him in a bunch of space outside the area. Bunch of space. He had to put the ball through the defender's legs in order to get that in. But well spotted by Tiani Noslin, and 4 minutes later Noslin scored after Centon's low cross into the first post was knocked in by Noslin as he got there before Carnesecchi. Carnesecchi came out, didn't fully Commit didn't fucking want it enough. He didn't want that ball enough, man. And Noslin got there first and knocked the ball in.
Keeper, command your area, dive into that.
Fucking, like, he was never gonna grab that. He went out to, like, grab it, like, okay, this is mine. No, fucking punch, heave! Fucking, who's gonna carry the boats?
Exactly.
Throughout the game, Montepò had a great number of brilliant saves throughout the match. What a performance by Montepò. If they go down, he's the first guy that's staying up. I always say every season, I love Montepò. I love Falcone. Those are great goalkeepers that often get overlooked, man. But Hien
Isaac
should have done so much better with a free header at the death. He even failed to hit the target.
But
there's a minute left to play.
It's his ex-team, eh?
Let me knock this one out because I love Verona. It was awful, bro. Awful. Sorry, you were gonna say, and I touched you weirdly.
Yes, and in fact, you touched me and erased my memory. So I have no idea what I was going to say.
Something about Montepò.
These goalkeepers, man, are the underdogs. Eh? They're the ones that are always going to be overlooked when it comes to a national team call-up, when it comes to a top team. But these are the guys who are producing miracle saves week in, week out.
Vicario was one of those, bro. Fuck, I miss Vicario.
Yes, he was one of those. But a little bit better than bro.
Yes.
Crazy good, actually, come to think of it. So there were certain moments where Vicario had me hands on my head, you know.
I would be freaking out. I remember I put him in my top 5 of top 20 Serie A goalkeepers, and Mintov couldn't believe.
No, Mintov couldn't believe that he put Skorupski as 1.
No.
2?
Manyan was first.
You had the idea, brother, of preparing an 11 of the relegation candidates. I love that idea. I think we should do it.
We should do it, but we should make it like a TikTok or something.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
That's a good idea for our socials.
We should do it, yeah.
So that was about Montepò's great performance, and genuinely, it wasn't like just routine saves. He had some brilliant saves. Tiani Noslin for Verona, he has come in January when all was looking tits up for Verona. They got rid of their best players. I said they were going to come last because of the financial situation that they were in. They fucking lost in Gonj, who was everything for them. Their only top player. Tiani Noslin has come in
out of nowhere,
and he's been super effective. You remember when they brought in Gonj last season, and towards the end of the season it was in Gonj that helped Verona survive. It was all in Gonj. That's Noslin this season, bro. That is Noslin this season.
It's true. And he's playing really well. He's had a great start to life in Italy. The Dutch 24-year-old. I'm just trying to see where he's been before. I don't think he was anywhere remarkable. To be honest, I don't know how to use SofaScore on this thing. So if you have another point, you can make it.
Atalanta's 3-0 victory at Anfield is sandwiched between two disappointing Serie A results against teams battling relegation, where they gave away their lead each time. Now, obviously, it's not that Atalanta are fielding a weaker 11 because Gasperini's system, a weaker 11, doesn't exist. Because he's always changing things up, and it's never like what Pioli did with Milan, where there are only 2-3 figures that play consistently, right? Everyone is playing consistently. He keeps everyone fresh. So what's the fucking issue, bro?
The issue is that playing in multiple competitions is very difficult, and going to Anfield requires you to rest players before going there, and to have tired players coming back from Anfield. So it affects the league directly, right? And again, we mentioned crunch time in the league. It's getting harder and harder with all these teams, of course, fighting for their lives. You see Verona here, man. This game would have been done and dusted for Atalanta any other. Like earlier on in the season, Verona would have never come back here.
But I think they struggle with concentration, man, Atalanta. I'm being completely honest. I genuinely believe that they struggle with concentration.
The thing is, Atalanta absolutely dominated the first half. And then early on, Verona came out shooting. They came out like really attacking them, and they started piling the pressure towards the end of the first half, Verona, and they came out with that exact momentum, and they put them under quite a lot of pressure. Atalanta recovered, it seems, and then all of a sudden, Hellas hit them on a counter, shocked them. Suddenly after that, boom, 2 goals.
Was it in the space of 5 minutes?
Yeah. And then Verona, you look at their XG, they're one of the most defensively sound teams in the bottom part of the table.
Wow, such a game of phases, because in
Totally a
fucking
game of
5 minutes, Atalanta scored 2 in the 13th and in the 18th, and then the 56th and the 60th, Verona scored 2.
It's literally, the half is mirrored.
Literally. That's crazy.
It is a game of 2 halves, literally. Yes, when it comes to Noslin, by the way, we're talking about where he's been in his life. He started his senior career at Hercules.
Or Hercules.
And then he went to DHSC. And then Fortuna Sittard. So out of nowhere, man.
Nowhere.
And then Hellas Verona signed. So this guy, Noslin, had 68 games and 9 goals for Fortuna Sittard. And Hellas Verona were like, him.
You know that guy?
Where are they from, these guys?
Fortuna Sittard. From the Eredivisie.
Yeah, in the Netherlands.
Wow, I had no idea. He's a Dutch player though, so that makes total sense. If Atalanta win the Europa League, by the way, if Milan are out, definitely fucking supporting Atalanta. And the coefficient is 1 by Serie A, so to say. Then 6 teams will feature in next season's Champions League. And can we make a deal? If that happens, we will mention it in every single fucking episode of next season.
Sure, bro. Sure. Deal.
We can add it to the intro and be like, welcome to Serie A Spotlight, home for discussing the best league in the world, lest we forget 6 teams in the Champions League. That could be like a staple intro. We'll fix it up a bit and implement it, but best league in the world, baby. Atalanta in 6th on 51 points. With a game in hand, do not forget. So when you see Lazio just 2 points behind them, does have a game in hand. Atalanta, which was against Fiorentina, it was abandoned when Joe Barone sadly passed away. Verona are in 15th on 28 points, 1 point above Frosinone in 18th.
That was your last game?
No, I still have Lecce Empoli after that.
Juicy. The next one we're going to be discussing is Fiorentina against Genoa, which ended 1-1. The reverse fixture was actually a 4-1 victory for Fiorentina. That was back when they still had some bite and less bark. Fiorentina, my victims on today's episode, played a 4-2-3-1 formation with Terracciano and goal, Coyote on the right, Parisi on the left with Ranieri and Martinez Quarta as a centre-back partnership. Bonaventura and Duncan were the midfield double pivot, with Icone on the right, Sotil on the left, and Beltran playing behind Il Gallo Bellotti. For Genoa, it was a 3-5-2 formation with Giuseppe Martinez in goal, Vasquez, Bani and Coney de Winter at the back with Sabelli on the right, Aaron Martin on the left, Goodmanson, Badel and Frendrup in the middle with Ekuban and Junior Messias playing up front. Junior Messias has had quite an unfortunate season when it comes to injuries. He once again went off injured.
Centre mid, right wing back, striker.
Anyway.
Just a versatile Brazilian legend.
Enzola was injured, of course. Malinovsky, Vitinha, Maturo were injured for Genoa, and Retegui was only fit for the bench. Fiorentina were fresh off their 0-0 Conference League draw against Victoria Pilsen, while Fiorentina have they also have only managed 3 Serie A wins in 2024. Fiorentina, bro.
Can you again, sorry?
3 Serie A wins in 2024.
Oh my god,
Fiorentina.
It's fucking April, bro. 17th April it is.
And 3 wins, I'm telling you, man. Ekuban got close to scoring twice in 30 seconds. Fingertip save by Terracciano denied him on the first one, and then he had a free header on a corner, which he failed to hit the target with. In the 26th minute, Bellotti scored offside. Ruled out, of course. Parisi brought down Ekuban on a rebound to give away a penalty shortly after, which Albert Goodmanson converted, sending the goalkeeper the wrong way and coolly tapping it home. In the second half, Bonaventura played a perfect cross to Jonathan Icone, who headed home. I don't think I've ever seen Icone score a header.
Hey. No, but we didn't see Icone score a header. We saw Giorco score a header. The rebrand is real,
exactly,
man.
The evolution of...
Exactly.
I've never been a Pokemon guy, but the original one was Jonathan Icone.
Exactly.
Now we're dealing with Giorco over here. And Giorco is lit.
Is he?
They're both inconsistent.
Yeah. As fuck. I think I prefer Ecuador.
Yeah. Mandragora's free kick grazed the crossbar shortly after that, and in the 70th minute, Genoa were actually awarded another penalty, but it was revoked following a VAR review, as Retegui had originally been pulling Coyotes short. They were pulling each other, but Retegui initiated, so it wouldn't have been fair to give the penalty.
The classic he did it first.
The classic. Haps seemed to have handled the ball in the box at the end, but the referee waved play on and it ended 1-1.
Why? Because,
a bit of controversy.
What is a handball, man? What is a handball? Because this is what they've done to me. Just what is a handball, bro? My girlfriend asked, what's offside? I can explain.
Yes.
To a degree.
No, we can explain. There are
to a degree,
calls, yes, like
to a degree.
Chukwueze, but I'm sure part of it must have been. I didn't see it in the angle, but
fucking a baby automated. Hair.
There's no way of getting it wrong.
And fucking the handball. How come that's not a handball, babe? Wasn't intentional. So, I don't know, man. Fucking leave it, like.
Yeah. Again, let's take a look at the statistics over here. Okay, 60% ball possession, pretty much for Fiorentina, 59 technically. 20 shots, 3 of them on target. Like 6 corners, 19 free kicks, big chances, 2.
Fiorentina are missionary nowadays, man.
That's it, man. They're totally flaccid.
They're a 2-minute missionary sesh, Fiorentina.
No,
a 2-minute missionary sesh.
They keep it going, I think that's the problem. They keep it going, but there's never a finale.
It's like they're always pulling out because they're about to come.
Remember, nowadays there's a camera pointed right at us over there. But we have to be ourselves. That's what the people want.
Are you seeing me in a heart? I don't know.
I don't know what I just did. But anyway, yes, dude. It was honestly a well-deserved draw, I think. I think Genoa didn't deserve to lose this. They managed to create their chances as well. Fiorentina, again, flaccid. So that's pretty much it. Yes. I don't think there's anything else you want to add, man.
No,
Italiano needs to move, I think.
And I wonder who's to blame over here. I think Italiano has shown certain limitations since he's taken over Fiorentina. Last season, the world was his oyster. The classic 2 finals they made it to. Coppa Italia final and the Conference League final. But don't forget, before that, they were struggling in the league. Now they had a good start this season. Bonaventura was on fire. It's like, the Italiano is so good. But then we saw the limitations of this team. The lack of creativity. And you start seeing the fact that the simple fact is that Italiano, before Fiorentina, never managed a top team.
He was at
Spezia.
Them play wonderful football.
Yes, beautiful. Killing Milan.
That's never been his problem. He will play beautiful football. He'll move the ball around in chicken passages.
It's just not direct killer football. It takes so many. I wouldn't want him at Milan, because Milan already have that problem where it takes so many steps. Now they've gotten better at it. So many steps to get into the box. With Italiano's teams, add 5 steps to that. They really, really struggle to create clear-cut opportunities. They can dance around the box and have strikes from distance all they want.
Do you remember how bad it was for Milan before Pioli? Well, even the early days of Pioli, to be honest, it would take forever to get the ball.
I remember, bro. There was one cheat code. Pass it to Suso.
Yeah.
Bring on Cotrone.
Oh yeah.
Just bring on Cotrone. He used to head it in like a seal. I remember. Jump up and knock it back.
He might be back in the league next year.
With Como.
Yeah, Cotrone. I was going to call him Crotone.
Disgusting.
Fiorentina are in 10th with 44 points and Genoa are in 12th with 39 points. Let's hope that Fiorentina can win the Conference League. We're all rooting for them over there.
Yeah. Relegation dogfight.
Let's go.
Lecce 1, Empoli 0. The previous encounter was a 1-1 draw when Empoli were home. Only 1 point separated these teams going into the weekend. who were respectively 3 and 2 points clear of the drop zone. Kristovic was suspended following the red card against Milan, with Castro, Dermaku, Kaba, and this guy, sure, it doesn't even matter, bro. Chorfitzen. In case you're wondering, guys.
The COVID vaccine.
Fucking. Chorfitzen was still injured, guys. The visitors missed Ebwehi, Ismaili, and Berisha, but ended their run of 4 consecutive defeats by beating Torino 3-2. But that was very short-lived. 4-2-3-1 formation for Lecce, with Falcone in goal and a backline of Gallo, Pongracic, Baschirotto, and Jean-Dre. Ramadani and Blin were in the pivot, with Udon just ahead of them, with Dorgo on the left, Almqvist on the right, and Piccoli up front. What am I doing, man? A 3-4-2-1 formation for Empoli, with Caprile in goal and a backline of Berezinski, Valukovic, and Luperto. Giassi was on the right, Pezzella was on the left, and the double pivot of Marin and Bastoni, Zurkowski and Cancelleri flanking Cherry. Cherry thought he got his first ever goal for Empoli, but it was disallowed, as prior to the attack, Caprile handled the ball outside his box rather bizarrely. It was quite bizarre. Firstly, the way in which he collected the ball. It's like there was no pressure on him, and he seemed really panicked, like, I get this ball or I die. Like,
bro, the commentator.
Oh,
he thought it was a penalty. I don't know why, but he thought the goalkeeper picking up
our boy Kendrick.
I think so. I think it was him. He was like, penalty Lecce! And then he was like, oh, never mind, it's a free kick.
No, but I think... it's true. Because the ref just randomly pointed there, and then it might have looked like he was gesturing that it was
But he had been saying for a while, this might be a penalty for Lecce because the goalkeeper handled the ball from out of the box. It was really weird.
Strange.
Had a bit of a howler
very wrong. It's quite literally a handball outside the box.
Yeah, how was that penalty?
However, I feel like Caprile made amends throughout the game. He had a great save moments later. Falcone did him one better, as he produced a double save moments later. On the stroke of half-time, Piccoli rose well, but could only hit the crossbar with his header. 58, Caprile pulled off another great save, this time on a Baschirotto header. It was one of those one-handed ones where you hang in the air. It's like you're watching Naruto or something. What was that? Mazinga Z. Like those football shows from back in the day, man, that we don't remember, just what older people told us. In the 89th minute, and then finally Lecce, to be honest, Lecce got what they deserved. As Pierotti rounded a rather poor-looking Valukovic moments after coming on, he squared it to Sansone, who had an empty net and almost walked it into the net to give Lecce the victory in this relegation 6-pointer. It was an absolute howler by Valukovic.
Disaster.
He got turned. Him and Huijsen of Roma are the two assholes of this week, I would say.
Absolutely. Huijsen was probably worse. He had time.
Huijsen looked like a kid with glasses at 4 years old being sent to football training for the first time.
He looked directly at the floodlight, like by mistake.
Bro, it was honestly so embarrassing.
But you know what, man? We excuse Huijsen because he's 19 years old or 18 perhaps. He's fantastic. Mm-hmm. He's incredible. He plays like a bloody veteran at times. So him we excuse. However, Valukovic, man, that was really, really, really bad. Mm-hmm. Really bad. And you know, this is an experienced player. Okay, he's 24 years old, not the most experienced, but he's been around the block. He's been
in the top.
He's been, you know,
he's been in the top.
Cagliari. He's been Cagliari, pretty much. Cagliari, Poland.
So now Lecce are 5 points away from the drop. Empoli just the 1. You look at Lecce's previous performances in relegation 6-pointers. So they beat Empoli here with the score of 1-0. They held Roma to a 0-0 and they actually outplayed Roma in that game. They beat Salernitana away from home with the score of 1-0. They lost at home against Verona. They drew away to Frosinone.
But since the change, since Gotti's come in, they've really turned their fork.
Here he came in after the 1-0 loss to Verona.
Exactly.
So the win against Salernitana, the draw against Roma, the loss to Milan, the win against Empoli was all Gotti's work.
Exactly. The only flop was the one against Milan, and obviously
It was
a
a Kristovic red card before half time. It's against Milan. Leao was on fire that game. It's excusable. Lecce are looking revitalized.
They are
looking
totally.
5 points. Makes me think they're not going to get relegated 5 points out of the relegation zone. Let's see who they have left, bro. Let's have some fun.
Let's see this.
Then stop it.
Oh God.
Sassuolo away. Sassuolo away. We go, bro.
We go.
To the Mappe. Monza home. Stop it. Cagliari away. Udinese home. Atalanta home. Napoli away.
Jesus Christ, dude. They've got 3 relegation 6-pointers there.
Oof. Man, oh man.
Wait, no, 2. Wait, 3. Yes,
3.
Cagliari,
Sassuolo,
Monza,
Cagliari,
Roma.
Sassuolo, Cagliari, Udinese. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Empoli, on the other hand, they seemed to have a great lease of life when Nicola came in, and they had those 5 games where they were undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
But now it looks like all they're capable of doing is losing. Okay, they beat Torino 3-2 in the last game. That was we have to speak to someone to see who got paid what for that game, because it's absurd. Like how Torino lost that game 3-2. I think Empoli might get relegated.
There were must not lose games for Empoli. Cagliari and now Lecce. And they lost both those games. You look at the 4 defeats in a row they went through. It was Cagliari, Milan, Bologna, Inter. They had a tough run in there, but then they managed to beat Torino, so the loss against Cagliari wasn't too bad. Then you want at least a draw from Lecce, and then Walukovic gives it away at the end of the game like that to give you another loss. It's not looking very good. And when you start losing these direct encounters, man, towards the end especially, you really end up shooting yourself in the foot.
Man. It's going to be tough for them. You remember I randomly said I think Empoli are going to get relegated, and the season before they were mid-table, and you're like, no, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking
that. The Prophet.
Prophet Matthew.
Prophet Matthew. The Book of Math.
So I think that pretty much sums up, I think, both teams. And to shout out Caprile, okay, he handled the ball outside the box, but relax, he had a fantastic performance after that. And yeah, well-deserved victory for Lecce as they sit in 13th on 32 points. They're now 5 points ahead of Frosinone in 18th on 27 points, whilst Empoli are in 17th on 28 points, just 1 point ahead of Frosinone. So the relegation battle is where it's at. The European battle is where it's at. The fucking Champions League has been on for 20 minutes. That's where it's at. We should go watch Real City, bro.
But before we do that...
What's this?
You remember this song?
Zinedine Zidane, first up.
Instead it's Nicolas Viola. Nicolas Viola.
Keep it going. Go fun. Gerard. Nicolas Viola. Nicolas Viola. Superstar. Answer my messages, Viola. Viola.
Woo!
What a guy. Keep it going. What an episode. R.I.P.
Thank you for listening. We have been Serie A Spotlight. Remember to drop a like, follow, subscribe, rate, date, all those. We love you.
Love you guys. Take care.